Hello, welcome to the show. This is Boxing with Big Dave. Actually, today is sort of a boxing thing. Oh, my hair's all messed up. Shit, what hat? Oh, all right, yeah. I need to probably hit the gym here pretty soon. That's irrelevant to us. So, oh yeah, I'm talking about. I watched Tyson Fury's fight. It's up this past weekend. I tell you, he looks sharp as ever. He looks like he's happy as ever. He's just an amazing man coming back from. He was like 400 pounds after he fought Klitschko. He ended up getting into drinking and drugging, and his depression was going overload, man. And just to admit that he has depression, he got himself a new trainer, start praying, start having a good faith in God. I'm not here to talk about the issue of depression, man. Depression is a bitch. I suffer from it, and in our society, I mean, us men are taught to be macho, strong, and that I never had it to the degree of Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is an amazing man. As far as he may not be the best boxer out there, but just his story alone. I mean, he was about to drive his Ferrari off a bridge, and there's a voice, I think it came from God, that said, "Hey, you don't want your kid. You have kids, you have a wife that loves you, and thank God that he's still around. He quit drinking, he quit drugging, and got himself a new trainer and dropped down to like 240 pounds. I mean, that's just amazing. Amazing transformation that somebody like Tyson Fury has. Mental health isn't an easy subject to talk about, especially for men. Men, it's because we're taught to be, hey, we have to be macho, we have to be, macho, we have to be tough, we have to be, that if you talk about it, you're a pussy. You're not. You're not. It's good to talk about mental health. It's good to talk about your feelings. It's good. I mean, I know there's certain cultures it's harder to talk about. Hey, you have to be like, tough. If you show one sign of weakness, you're a bitch, or you're a fag, you're a bitch, medicone, or different cultures around it, that you're that you can't talk about it, and I think it's important to talk about it. I think it's healthy to talk about it. I mean, we have men that we look up to that are macho, and there's a lot of football, or a lot of former offensive and defensive linemen. You see this among offensive defensive linemen. Once they leave football, they have a depression like a motherfucker. They have depression, and it's bare. It's not something that's easy to talk about. And people act like they're falsely happy, and that it's not something that most men want to talk about, because it makes them look, depending on what society and what part of society that they live in. And I imagine a man like Tyson Fury, that's the lineal champ. Yeah, I imagine to me he's more than a lineal champ. He's a champ in life. I mean, he came back from like I said, being over 400 pounds, and wanting to drive his car off a cliff, and come back and compete with Deontay Wilder. It was a draw. I thought the draw was pretty fair between him and Wilder. I mean, considering he got knocked down a couple of times, I thought there were some rounds that I thought Fury pretty much dominated the fight, but man, all you need is a couple not good right hands by Deontay Wilder in order to him to really mess your world up. I mean, that's Luis Ortiz. That's another guy I respect. He's kind of like my middle-aged hero. He's going in there at about 40 and a half. I think he's about 6 months younger than I am. They're still banging it in there with Deontay Wilder, banging it in there with these guys in their 20s. I mean, he's just awesome, man. We'll talk about that different. But yeah, if you know anybody with depression or you have it, talk about it. It's not a pussy thing to talk about. And I mean, it could save a lot of lives. You know, you're not a pussy, you're not a wuss, you're not. If you want to talk about your feelings, man up, admit to your wrongs, admit to your faults, and to help you out to admit to your faults, admit to your wrongs, and that's what I think Tyson Fury, end up having to do, dig down and say, hey, a voice in his head made him not drive his Ferrari off a cliff. I mean, it's one of them diseases that don't affect whether you're rich, poor, middle income, black, white, Latino, Asian, and depression is an all-American issue, all world issue, and I mean, just amazing to see him come back and be the happiest ever. Like I said, he ended up getting a different trainer, a different I like to see him get his belts back. I like to see him get his belt back. I think he can. There's two. There's two people that have all the heavyweight belts now. They're both in the United States. One of them's Andy Ruiz, who beat AJ, which is I think AJ was overconfident, which can prove that it don't matter how much of an underdog that you can actually go and if you're not on point, anybody can be embarrassed. And if you're not on point, I'm not saying AJ is a bad fighter, but he wasn't on point that night. He did not have. I think he overlooked Ruiz. Not giving anything away from Andy Ruiz. I think Ruiz is a good fighter. I think Andy Ruiz is a good fighter. He has quick hands. I think he wants Wilder. Don't get me wrong. I think Ruiz is a good fighter, and I think AJ overlooked him. You cannot overlook anybody. Do not underestimate anybody when you go in that ring. Don't underestimate anybody in that ring. All right, this is Boxing with Big Dave, episode 2. Give a shout out if you depression as an animal, no matter what ethnicity you are, whether what economic background you are, or what part of society you're in. It is manly to talk about your feelings. Peace out. Have a good day.